So we don't want to be that person that has no idea at all that they are making a scene, that they are complaining, that they are making everyone else miserable, and that when there are times when there's just absolutely nothing you can do about it, then just try not to complain. Hi, I'm Gina. Welcome to Hope and Cope. This channel is my heartfelt ministry where I pour into others from a place of love, wisdom, and faith. My desire is to offer hope, comfort, and Christ-centered truth to those who really need it. So I'm offering you an invitation to accept this third challenge, the challenge to not complain. So the first one is to be unirkable. So if we did good with that one and we're trying to be less irkable, there should be less that we will complain about. But we're trying, week 1 was to be unirkable. Week 2 was to resist self-pity, and now week 3 is the challenge to not complain. So I hope that you will join me on this challenge to be less crabby and less complaining. I hope that you find that a valuable challenge, that you feel like you're up to it, and that you would benefit from trying a little harder to try not to complain. I know people that are very good at it, but I also know those of us that really could bump up our game a little bit and not complain. I know our families would appreciate it. I know they would. And we're just more pleasant and delightful when we don't find fault with everything and we don't complain. And we're better representatives of Christ when we don't grumble and complain all the time. I have a distinct memory. One time, a friend of mine and I went to an amusement park, and we got in a line to ride a ride, and the line was extremely long. And I think at some point it just quit running. I think the ride shut down. And it was hot, it was summertime, and there was a lady in the line with us that just perpetually griped and complained. She made everyone around us miserable. And it was already miserable. And waiting in that line where we had to just stand in the heat was terrible. But I honestly think because she was complaining so bad and she was making everyone else miserable, that even the children around were not complaining because this one woman was doing so much complaining. I think it really shined a light. If she wasn't doing so much complaining, maybe we all would have done a little complaining, but because she was just complaining so much, we were all just like, because it was just so unpleasant. Her constant griping and complaining just made the whole thing so much worse. So we don't want to be that person that has no idea at all that they are making a scene, that they are complaining, that they are making everyone else miserable, and that when there are times when there's just absolutely nothing you can do about it, then just try not to complain. When you're traffic or bad weather, we were in a line. We could have decided to get out of the line at any point. We just chose to stay, and there were people that were getting out of the line. Our choices should have been stay and don't complain, or get out of the line and move on and go do something else and let the time that we'd spend in that line just be a sad waste. We chose to stay, and we were glad we did, but boy, that just really shined a light that lady, not the children in line, that lady was just complaining so bad. Nobody wants to be that person. Nobody wants to be that person, but you have to be self-aware. If you are not, you will just say what comes to your mind and constantly be complaining and making other people very, very uncomfortable. Hey, if you're getting value from this video, will you do me a favor and like it and subscribe and share this with a friend, and go ahead and stick with me to the end for my final point, because it's really a good one. When I'm just in that mood and I'm finding fault with everyone and everything around me, I try to reset with a healthy dose of gratitude. I start telling myself that these problems of mine are mostly trivial, and I think about people that have it so much worse. I have a video about gratitude, and I will have that linked at the end of this video if you would like to watch that. And then I use worship, praise and worship. There's so much great praise and worship music just at your fingertips. If you have If you have the internet and you have access to all the different options out there, you have endless opportunities to listen to praise and worship music, and then scripture and videos that are encouraging, sermons and Christian content. All of that helps to lift my spirits. And then I try to realize that people are watching. My children, my grandchildren, my neighbors, co-workers, people at the store, people at the park, that people do notice and people are watching. And I want to be a good example. I want to be Christ-like. Have you been following these challenges this month? I hope so, and I hope they're encouraging you and that you're building on these 1 week challenges so that you can grow in your Christian character. Remember, if you take the challenge, to leave your first name in the comments, and I will pray for you for strength this week. And also, if you want to leave a comment about the challenge and how you're doing or any spiritual growth that you're gaining from these, then at the end of the month, I will try to pick a story or a comment and share it in the last video of this 4-week challenge. What do you do when you catch yourself complaining a lot? If you've got some good tips for us, please leave it in the comment section. I wanted to close by saying that most of you probably know that my husband is a quadriplegic and he lives with a lot of chronic pain, and he just never complains. I don't know how he does it, but you just don't hear complaining come out of his mouth. And that's just a real inspiration to me when I am in his presence and I'm walking around and complaining and finding fault here and finding fault there and noticing this and noticing that and grumbling about this and grumbling about that. And then he's just never complaining. And when I complain, he doesn't complain about me complaining. He just is quiet. So he's just such an inspiration to me about not complaining. And so I really try to let him be a good example to me and realize that if he doesn't find fault, if he's not constantly criticizing his situation, his condition, or his company that he's with, then I could bump up my game and not complain as well. So I hope you will watch that video that I have posted at the end here about gratitude, and thank you for your time. And check out the description box. I have a scripture card for you in there, especially if you want to take this challenge. You can check out that scripture card in the description box for your encouragement. I put out content on Sundays, so be looking for that. And I love you. I'm praying for you. Until next time, God bless.